Mask off, mask off. Cruising tuned in the mask off. With conversation will rule the nation on face-to-face basis when we blast off. It's real on the asphalt. On the turf of the court, yeah, we here for the sport. So take your mask off, so I can hear your ass talk. Let me hear you explain. Hold the thoughts on your brain. Is your ass smart? Spit facts and real talk. I need that shit from the street that make you think real deep and take a long walk. This podcast is telling it with my man JD Fence and Skizzo Blizzard.
Uno. What it do, family? Y'all know what it is, man. Mask Uncovered Podcast. Hollywood Skizzo. JD Fence. Unfortunately, Hollywood Skizzo couldn't make this trip with us, man. I'm in San Antonio. But I'm sitting here with the living legends, 210's best, Lil Sin, man.
What it do?
What's going on? We've been waiting for this podcast, man. Introduce yourself, man. Who's Lil Sin, man?
Man, your boy Lil Sin. Me, I like to call myself the San Antonio legend, but I've been heard in many places, even international places, you know what I mean? Best known for a song called I Wanna Be Free with UGK. Your boy Lil Sin from San Antonio, Texas, 210. That's who I is.
Man, you right. I damn near dumbed it down by just saying the 210's fine. And so, like, you got music, you know, out there, you know, UGK features Slim Thug, other artists. We'll tell people, like, what some of
the artists I work with, just off the top of my head, UGK, Slim Thug, Lil Kiki, South Park Mexican, Gangsta Nip, Billy Cook, who else, man? They got late. Devin the Dude, Man, the list is very, very long. You know, we'll be here another hour naming all the features I done been on.
Nah, but that's good enough, man. Like, let's say a little history about Lil Sin, man. Born and raised, like, how did you run into a cat like JD Fence that's on Mask Uncovered, man? Just, you ain't got to dig deep, but go where you want to go.
Born in San Antonio, Texas, man. Spent the first 13 years of my life in San Antonio, Texas. 1987, my pops passed. Rest in peace, pops. Ronnie Warner Sr.
Rest in peace.
Yes, sir. After he passed, man, Mom made a transition to Boston, Massachusetts. And this is I'm coming out of my 8th grade year, going into 9th grade. Mom makes a transition to Boston, Massachusetts, so we pack our bags up and move from San Antonio, Texas, all the way to fucking Boston, Massachusetts.
Beantown.
Bean!
And once you in the Bean, you stayed there how long? How long was you in the Bean?
In the Bean, I moved there from 87. I didn't leave there till 1995.
Ooh, nice little rep.
Yeah,
man.
nice 8 year. Good
Now, would you say you was rapping before you left Texas? Would you say you started rapping in Bean? Like, when did you pick up the pen?
I picked up the pen first time at the end of my 9th grade year, so it was in Beantown. That's the first time I ever fucking picked up a pen and wrote inside a notebook.
Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing that. I thought it was just in you from day one. But tell me who your pops is too, like about the music that, you know, you from that family too.
Yeah. I mean, music was, and I grew up in a musical family. My dad, late Ronnie Warner Sr., you know, he died, man. There used to be a club down here called Eastwood Country Club, and my daddy would open up for all the major acts like Tina Turner, Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass, you know, people like that. My dad was opening up for these people. You know, a nice act in San Antonio, Texas, you know what I mean? Also, you know, he took his acts on to Odessa, Texas, California. He was known in a lot of states, too, for a singer.
So it was embedded in you anyway. So when you picked up the pen in the 9th grade, like it came easy to you. What made you pick up the pen, first and foremost? Like, was some of your boys rapping? Did you hear certain artists on the radio? You was like, damn, I think I could do that?
Really, man, I was a drummer by trade. What made me really...
Not the drummer, boy.
Yeah,
not that cannon.
I used to beat them skins, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? But when I first got to Boston, that's how I got introduced to music. It wasn't even rapping when I first got there. I was playing drums for a hip-hop heavy metal group. You know what I mean? In Norwood, Massachusetts, a couple of white kids and shit. black drummer. You know, I was doing like hip hop and then spitting a couple of freestyle verses. What made me really want to rap, man, I heard I think Digital Underground had fucking featured Tupac on the song. And when I seen that shit, man, I just fell in love, bro. So what I did,
I hang around now with
yeah. So what I did was kind of cheated. We had a fucking talent show in Norwood. So what I did was wrote those Tupac lyrics down and I spit that shit and was lying like a motherfucker saying that was me.
Oh, that's it.
So just memorizing Tupac rhymes and shit like that in a notebook that I rewrote. That's what made me first start writing. I said, damn, I think I can do this for real. Come up with my own story.
Man, then the story. So, like, because that was a story, like, that short time, that rhyme that Park spitted on that,
Mm-hmm.
he literally told a story. He only had like 16 bars or whatever, but like literally, because I recall those same lyrics or whatever, and I really felt like he painted a picture real quick. So like that told a story. We got people that spit like, you know, just hot, whatever. You can spit rhymes, but like telling stories is different, and that's what I think that made Pac different. He was able to sum stuff up so quickly. Like, are you more of a storyteller? Are you more of a spitter, an MC? What would you categorize your talent
with you, in my earlier years of being a writer, I'm a spitter. What I've learned in Boston was spitting, because I'm sitting in ciphers, you know what I mean? Spitting on rooftops with people, you know what I mean? So it was all about competition, I situation in my rhymes. It wasn't until I came back home to Texas and started studying Scarface to where I became a storyteller, wanted to paint pictures, you know what I mean, with my words. So, be honest with you, yeah, the competition and the round spitter, just being a spitter while I was on the East Coast, that's what I was. When I came back home, I started painting pictures. You know what I mean? This storytelling.
And when did your first album drop?
First album dropped Halloween 1995.
Okay.
On fucking Halloween.
I still remember you bringing us the CD with our names engraved in the
Oh man.
Little shout outs and stuff.
I couldn't wait to fucking get back to Boston to show y'all that shit, man. I dropped my first album in 1995, Frustrated by Death. And when I dropped it, you know, just being fresh home, I'm just coming from Boston. So, you know, my niggas, you know, I wanted to shout out to Defense, Trash, I keep saying Defense, Defense, my nigga. And Trash, you know, people like that, Terrell, people like that, man. I couldn't wait to get back home to, you know, show them what I did. Because I worked on this craft in Boston. I perfected this craft in Boston. And to come home to fulfill my dream and come out with an album and come back and show my niggas what they taught me. You know what I mean? Of being in Beantown. So I couldn't wait to get back to show them what they taught me. You know what I mean? As far as hip hop and shit like that. So when I got back there, I drove in a car, bro. Me and my homeboy 13.
I remember that.
Man, drove in a car all the way from Texas back to Boston in 1996. It's only a year later. You gotta look at it. I moved from Boston. I got from Boston in 1995. I moved back to Texas in April. No, March. March 3rd. I had a deal already a month, less than a month. You know what I mean? By April 4th, I had already signed a contract working on the album. I wasn't even back home a month.
Because I remember you was at my house in the projects in the Berry, and you got a call. I think it was Will, somebody called, Will, somebody put him through, whatever. And I was like, "Are y'all calling me?" And they're like, "Yeah," it was like Rap-A-Lot Records or something.
Yeah.
And I handed you the phone, that's when you came, like, yo, you had a deal on the table with different people, or what have you.
Most definitely.
So how was that first album received?
That first album received in San Antonio was a big impact, man. That was something, I think, fresh and different that came out. And I think the song that got the biggest impact was, I made a song called Gangsta Horn about one of my dead partners here in San Antonio. And a lot of people had knew him. And to come home and do a song about, you know, just a friend from the neighborhood that everybody knew, it really had a big impact. Like, okay, this dude is just like us, you know what I mean? He's from where we from, and he's telling stories about where we from. So that made a big impact on San Antonio because thus far, I don't think nothing was being done like that here at home.
And tell them how you put that leg work in, like how you would be like around the people, because you from day one, like you said, you drove down. I remember you drove to Boston. You had all the posters, the CDs. You gave us this merchandise, and we're like, yo, like, dude, we was just with you like 9 months ago. Like, it was like, yo, we was all just eating oodles and oodles, drinking 40s, hanging out. Like, now you sitting up here with
posters and all this type
in the
of thing.
game. So tell them how humble you have been or whatever.
I was, man. I was a humble person. I never felt above anybody. So what I would like to do, man, is like when I got my posters and stuff, is go back to the same hood, man. You know, get out my van and stuff, pass posters out, come into the hood and shit, and sit on your couch even, man. Come inside your house, eat your mom's food, sign a poster, help you put it on the wall. Sit inside your house, man, and play you in the game or Tecmo Bowl or something like that, just to interact with the fans. When you do something like that, they remember that shit forever. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So my promotional, I ain't gonna even call it a scheme. My promotional thing was to let people get a personal, upfront experience with me. You know what I'm saying? So they could take that a long way and remember it for a long time. So that's what I love to do as an artist when I'm, out doing my thing and promoting my thing.
Okay, so you got a nice little buzz. You lived out your dream. Like a lot of us is young and we feel we were artists, and okay, if we got to record a song or even a verse somewhere, it's like, wow, done. Okay, so like now you have that whole life experience, album done. How did it move going to a second album, like, and then actually having more work done, and then who did you work with on that second album? Yeah.
My second album.
Because you weren't one and done.
Nah, I wasn't one and done. What we had so much local success. Like home really supported me very well, man. We moved, 5-figure units home. Little 30, 40,000 units as a local artist. That was something big down here. So, moving that many units, we was ready to take it to the next level. So, at that time, the next level was to go to Houston because Houston had a better market than what we were dealing with. So I ended up moving to Houston, Texas, and hooking up with a major DJ that was working 97.9 The Box at the time. His name was Mean Green.
Okay.
So this major
Not Mean Joe Green, not the rest of the
No. Just
want to make sure, okay.
I already know. But Mean Green was an important tool at 97.9 The Box in Houston, which is the major radio station.
Okay.
So I met Mean Green. I used to go out to this club and hang out where all the artists perform, called Jamaica in Houston, Texas. And Mean Green would always be doing remotes in front of this club.
Okay.
Me being a local artist had a little buzz. Houston had heard of me already from the buzz at home. So, I came to him like, yo, man, I want to work on the second album, but it's a couple of people that I want to work with. Is there any way you can get me to these people? Mm-hmm. Like, straight up, man, asked me, shit, who you want to work with? First thing I mentioned was UGK. Shit, that'd be no problem, you know what I mean? Let me find out what the pimp is going to charge. I get back at you. I really thought he was feeding me some bullshit, you know what I mean? Yeah, I get back at you, da-da-da-da-da, and boo-boo-boo. So I told him everybody I wanted to work with in this one night, you know what I mean? About a week later, man called me back. It's like, yo, you serious about working with Pimp now? I'm like, yeah, but shit, I set it up. Let's make it happen. So that was a total blessing, man. Shout out to Mean Green. He the one that introduced me to UGK to get that work done.
And what work did they do on that album? So that second album, you trying to tell me you worked, do you have a song, you had a single? What did you have on that second album? These people don't know you.
Most definitely.
What happened on that second album?
On that second album, I linked up with Pimp C to do a song, in which we did a song called I Wanna Be Free. That's on my second album, Who Got Your Back. We ended up doing a song featuring Pimp C and Bun B. But the relationship got so cool, man. Pimp ended up producing 4 more beats for me on that album. It turned out we turned into a friendly relationship working with Pimp. So, one day he invited me to Atlanta, to the crib. Hey, bro, we're gonna do because we was working out of Houston.
Okay.
once we met, worked and did free, we recorded free in Houston. He invited me to Atlanta. Said, man, come up here and stay with me a couple of weeks to work on the rest of the jams.
Okay.
So, you know, man, I'm a dude that got to sleep on Pimp C's couch for a couple of weeks, wake up to his mama cooking. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's go to Walmart and get some late night snacks. We really built a close relationship, me and Pimp C.
So no industry bullshit. Oh,
Nah.
yeah, Pimp C, Simpson. You talk official.
I ain't no,
listen.
ain't no let's go in
Pimp
the
C.
studio, do this song, and it was over.
Let them know that. Okay.
Nah, man, I feel, I really, the relationship, me and Pimp relationship was at least a year. Out of that shit, man, out of doing songs with him, he ended up inviting me on a tour that he was on with Master P. So I got to open up for him on the tour with Master P. He really was taking me under his wing, man. We was working on more songs, you know what I mean? That we didn't get to put out and stuff like that. But man, real good relationship with Pimp C, man. Shout out and rest in peace to Pimp C, man, what you did for my career. Man, I was just a dude from San Antonio living a dream. You know, wanted to work with these guys. And he opened his arms up to me, man, and worked with me. And we put in some hard work, genuine work.
That's good. That's good to hear, man. Like,
Yes,
who are some of the artists that you feel like in the industry, once you was even wanting to be in the industry, then being in the industry and having that drive to continue to be in the industry? Instead of going right into the third album or your next album or your next moves, let's talk about, like, because sometimes inspiration could be like, okay, when I'm 9, I heard Nas' first album and then that intrigued me. But like once you're in it, okay, so like now you talked about, like, now you got to work with UGK, Pimp C, like you know, staying with Pimp C, you got a relationship with Pimp C. So like, okay, now what's the drive like? So I don't want to just keep it pop like on some traditional, oh, well, what was your third album? Nah, fuck all of that. So like now, you're in the industry, you already have an album out, now you're working on your second album, and now you have a relationship with somebody, UGK, like, I mean, so now I'm thinking, mentally, what are you thinking? Mentally, where you at? Are you on some stuff like, okay, I made it, like, the world can end right now, or are you on some stuff like, oh, no, this feels good, like, now I need to attack the next thing. Like, what was your mindset like? What did you do next mentally? Like,
Mentally?
Yeah.
After working with Pimp C, I got to come back and work with one of the dopest producers, man, I think I ever worked with, John Beto. John Beto, for y'all don't know, he used to produce for Rap A Lot, Mind Playing Tricks on me.
Okay.
Same dude that produced that track. Same dude, the main producer that was Scarface's Back. That album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm working with a producer I've dreamed to work with.
Okay.
So I come back to Houston, being able to work with him. He was, at the time, he was making beats for Scarface at the time. And Scarface, you know, I haven't met him yet, but Scarface heard my first song called The Game Just Changed that I recorded with Beto.
Okay.
So it kind of opened his eyes, boom, 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 boom. So Beto is working with me and Scarface, and he's passing Scarface beats. And this is fucking like track. It's called Danger on my album. He gave it to Scarface, and Scarface was like, yo, give it to that San Antonio kid. Let me see what that San Antonio kid can do with this. Because I'm not going to lie, when I heard the beat, I couldn't even imagine Scarface rapping on this beat. Wow. Wait a minute, nah, that ain't Face. You know what I mean? Like, so Face, boom, passed me the beat.
Before you gotta let that breathe a little bit. Why? Like, why would you say that? Like, cause everybody gonna be like, what you mean Scarface could rap on that beat? Like, what?
To be
Why?
honest,
Why?
because this was a more up-tempo beat. It had some crazy shit in it. It wasn't your normal fucking beat, Rap A Lot beat. You know what I mean?
Give an example. Was it bing, 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 or was it like? In other words, think about people that's watching and listening. Some people might recognize that. I think I got an idea of where you're coming from, but I don't want you to just gloss over that too quickly. I think that's a meaningful statement.
Anybody that grew up on Rap A Lot music, this Scarface shit, it was some gangster shit. Gangster storytelling shit.
Okay.
This fucking track sound like an African band made it. Bongos. You know, instruments that you normally don't hear in rap. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now
So,
you make it. Okay.
It was a track that, this ain't rap, this is something else.
All right. Thank you. Just for clearing that up. I hate to interrupt you, but
Nah, you good.
All right.
Yeah, it was something else. So Face passed the track to me, give it to the San Antonio kid. I wrote to the track and recorded that motherfucker immediately. So once I recorded it, Beto invited Scarface to my session to hear it. This is the first time I get to meet Scarface. Like, this is my dream coming out a kid out of Boston. I don't want to meet Scarface for going home to sign a rap a lot. This is what I tell my mom.
Okay.
I'm moving from Boston, going back to Texas, I'm gonna hook up a rap a lot. Like, you know, really believing this is what I'm gonna fucking do.
Okay.
And to actually be inside a rap a lot studio recording that's halfway of my dream coming true. So now I got Scarface sitting in my session about to listen to my song. So that ain't shit you can tell me. All dreams that came true.
Wow.
So when Scarface fucking listens to my song, bro, and he stand, this is how you do it. I want to stand up on part. That motherfucker standing up. Puts his hands reaching the air, grabbing his head like, yo, nigga, you is one bad motherfucker. And for my idol, my motherfucker, like, who I dream to be,
Fact.
tell me that I'm a cold motherfucker, I didn't have to sell one record again. I'm done, bro. I could have hung the mic up, I'm done, bro. I don't even need to hit a booth no more.
And I definitely got Face in my top 5. So like I can meeting him would be a blessing. You know, hey, but like to be in that industry and then to have that cosign, to have the Mac,
Nigga,
that's phenomenal, man.
I think, and when I say that, my career shifted after that.
Shifted how? Left, right, west, east, like what? Good, bad, like.
I think where I messed up, I got so much satisfaction out of that. In my career, I ain't gonna. My career, yeah, I can't say it kind of went down. You feel what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is the satisfaction. The work ethic was there, but I didn't want to accomplish no more goals. You know, being an artist, the main goal, you want to go platinum or you want to go gold. Before I even got to that status, I got solidified by a legend that I look up to. So platinum and gold didn't mean shit to me.
It's funny because in the way you kind of answered it, where I was going to go with that, because I think about like an NBA player, like typically, okay, you play out your rookie contract, and once they get that big next contract, some of them fall down by the wayside. You're like, yo, what happened to this kid? Once they got their money, they ain't as aggressive. Like some things have changed.
Right.
So, in a way, so once you got that recognition from Face, I was gonna ask, like, was it more you? Was it partly you? Like, where you said, okay, well, I don't have to keep recording the beats every day. I don't have to keep writing every day. Like,
Yeah.
did you feel like you fell off? But in the way you kind of said, well, I don't think it was my work ethic. Like, was it? Like, would you put it on you? What was it? The industry? Like, how come everybody don't know of Lil Sin all over the world? I mean, not to say that parts of the world don't know of you. Fact. I ain't going downgrade. Like, you got some shit popping.
Right. But at the same time, that is fair to say. You know what I mean? I would say, like I said, over-satisfied, bro. And then plus, me learning the industry. I wasn't just a rapper. I was paying attention to what's going on in the background.
Okay.
You know, I'm sitting next to stars, so-called stars that I see on TV, platinum records and shit, not having nothing as near as what I had as a local artist. So the business side started to sink into me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, this man got this hit record, but god damn, that nigga can't go get a hamburger. You know what I mean? So I started opening my eyes to the industry. And then shout out to Pimp, man. Being able to hang around him a long time, he would give me certain warnings about the industry. Hey, Sin, this ain't what it seems. This dude ain't got this. That ain't that. Then you gotta do that for certain reasons. You know, I don't want to get in detail.
Right, you don't have to. Man, won't put them on blast.
But yeah, put nobody on blast. But he taught me a lot, bro, to where it made me look down on the industry. to the point, it got to a certain point where I didn't want a record deal.
Would you say you almost lost love for, I ain't gonna say music, but love for that aspiration or that dream?
Yeah, lost love for the dream. You know what I mean?
But not for the music.
Not for
Obviously,
the
the
music.
music's
That
in
was
you.
in me. I had to
Okay.
wake up and do it every day.
Facts.
But the purpose I was doing it for, I lost that.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I was the demise of my career. After, you know, all of that, you know, Rap-A-Lot made an offer for me.
Jay Chris?
250,000. Scarface itself, if you remember, Scarface had a record label called Face Mob.
Yeah, I know that.
Where he put out
Yep,
Face Mob, put
yep.
out Key to a G.
Yep.
He had his own label. That's what he was making an offer for me to go to Face's label. That's why I was so satisfied, man. This guy wanted to sign me. Made the offer. My management turned it down. Like, motherfucker, I just paid $250 with the studio time. That's what you offer me for my artist. And you know, yeah, so satisfaction, bro.
Wow.
Wow. By somebody that's in my top 3, bro. As a kid, like I look up to this kid, this dude. And that's the dream coming true.
Wow. Man, it's so, obviously you got 1,000 stories. Well, within when you recording and making these moves and being around Pimp C, what would you say would be like a highlight for you, like a quick story, or like, oh, I remember this is when I felt this way when I was driving to Georgia. Like just whatever it might have been. You don't have to go too deep in that, but like I just remember when I was on stage and it was like 600 people there. Like what was like a high for you?
A high for me? One of my highs, man, was that
Personally, not industry wise.
Not industry wise?
Like like you said, like not working with a certain artist or whatever. Like like just go where you wanted to go. Where was you gonna go with that?
A highlight for me was that man, me and Pimp C was working on a song called Good Pussy. You know, sitting there vibing to it, right to it. You know what, man? I'm gonna call her Sleepy Brown, man, see if we can go to his house. Nigga like Sleepy who, nigga? Like, talking about organized noise, Sleepy Brown, nigga? Like, you know these niggas, you finna take me over there? And for him to call Sleepy Brown, met us at a restaurant first. You know, I guess he wanted to meet us before he goes to the crib and shit, you know what I mean? Sleepy Brown actually showed up, bro. And for me to go over to Sleepy Brown's house to work on that song and record it, Sleepy Brown not knowing who the fuck I am, bro. You know what I mean? And obviously he was vibing. I seen him pick up the bass. Pick that motherfucker up, start jamming on the song me and Pimp made. And not ask for one motherfucker now.
That's it. That's what I want these people. That's why I don't want to hear no highlight of, okay, when I sold my first album. That's the story that touches people. That's the story that people want to hear. Like, wow, so you sitting right there, Sleepy Brown, and that's that vibe.
In this crib, I'm a kid from San Antonio, Texas, bro. Like, every time I even said that to industry people, where you from? San Antonio, where? San Antonio, where the Spurs play? They got rappers down there? And then my work ethic, man, like, I can grab a fucking beat that I just heard at these time in the 90s, sit down 1 hour, get up in the booth and have a whole song. Penmanship, not no freestyle. Penmanship. A song thought out, chorus, da-da-da-da, in 1 hour. That's how fast. That's what Boston taught me, man. Wow. To be prepared, man, that you can go to A&R schools. You know, shout out to Mass Effects. In the late 80s, early 90s, I signed up with a management group to teach you this type of shit. This is how you perform. This is 16 bars. They took me to studios to teach me how to record. So by the time I came back to San Antonio and had the deal shit, nigga, I got 100 hours of recording time already. I know how to record. I ain't in here playing.
Yo, it's funny because you said something a few minutes ago, and this is something that you continue to say, And since I've known you, you continue to say, how important is it for you to rap San Antonio? Like, really, every time I've seen you on interviews, your music, and you gotta remember, San Antonio, like you said, it's one of those spots that, okay, Houston, Dallas. Because you mentioned that, oh, yeah, I'm from San Antonio. Oh, it's Spurs play?
Yeah.
So typically, if I'm from where people are not gonna acknowledge me, but I'm from Texas, I might say, oh, yo, I'm from Texas. I'm not even gonna spit out San Antonio. I'm like, I'm from Texas. Let them do with that as they want. They might be like, oh, he's from Texas. And if their mindset was, oh, Houston, Dallas, whatever, they let them run with that. But you always represented San Antonio. Day one, like, I'm from San Antonio. You made it specific. I'm not from Texas. I'm from San Antonio. Why is that so important to that?
That's what my genuine love is. And plus, my family, the Warners, have set that history in the city. So there was history before me. I didn't put San Antonio on the map. You know, it was people before me that were in my family that put San Antonio on the map. So it's so important to me to carry out their history. Plus, San Antonio is not known to have major artists in it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a must that I represent this city. Trying to lift it up. This is where I get my genuine support. This is family. This is home. You know what I mean? I don't get no hate out of here, so it's easy for me to represent this city.
That's major, and that leads me to kind of like somewhat my final way of kind of summing up. Like, I'm down here, San Antonio, Texas. Y'all are gonna see some of the videos. You know, obviously go to Masculine Cover Podcast, and you'll see some of the interviews of the performers that was at the concert. And you put that concert together. It was the 210 Legends concert.
Yes, sir.
And you're bringing people that typically don't get the recognition somewhat that they might deserve in your eyes, at least.
Right.
So because
Some could know, some they do.
and you could play with that how you want to, but this would be my question to you, and run with this as you want to. How important was it for you to put this 210 Legends concert together?
It was very important to me to put it together because first off, you know, 210 San Antonio showed me love for 27 years, man. And through those 27 years, I see other up-and-coming artists that are doing their thing. And some of them don't even get to be heard outside of the city. So if I created a platform, at least try to give them somewhere they can perform to get heard and seen. And with the resources that I have outside of the city that I can eventually put together and try to give these San Antonio artists a platform to build a name to grow outside of the city. You know what I mean? Even inside of the city. Creating a market here. One thing San Antonio has lacked, even in my time, in the 27 years, we never had a strong market. It was always this one artist coming out of here, and then another period of time, another one artist. You know what I mean? We wasn't known like some other cities in Texas to have multiple artists. I give a big up to Houston, Texas, but when I say Houston, Texas, you can say Slim Thug, Lil Kiki, Pow Wow, Chameleon. I can keep going on.
Right, facts.
You know what I mean? When I say San Antonio, Texas, I can say PKO, Lil Sin, King Khalid, So San Antonio, Live Olin, and then it starts Lil Yoda, and then it starts to what? I can't, you know what I mean? I can't be going on the list. So when I speak on San Antonio, I'm trying to create a market to where I can at least name 20 artists out of here. You feel what I'm saying? That has a platform and a name, you know what I mean, to push it along.
And that's facts because you know that there's 20 artists out there that deserve it.
There's 50 of them out here that deserve it, but yes.
So it has to be clear and concise. Not that you're not saying this 20 or 30 artists out, but people don't understand that there's a few people out there that know that there's at least those 5.
Right, yes sir.
So that's what the backup was, and that's why, because a lot of people was expecting you to perform last night, and when I talked to you after the show, you seemed satisfied with, you know what, I didn't perform tonight, but that this wasn't about me.
It wasn't. It wasn't about me. That show was about those artists being seen. Getting them used to being treated well, like a superstar. You know what I mean? Like when they got off stage, they was able to come to Mass Uncover to get an interview right then and there. You know what I mean? Most of them artists never experienced that in their life, bro.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And if I can give them the opportunity, not to be the face of it, but I enjoy seeing them feeling like a superstar. You know what I mean? And as long as if I can bring 1, 2, 3, 10 of them artists to feel that way, I can uplift this city. So if I keep this thing going, then I think I can create a market in the city to where artists can be heard and seen. That's my whole goal, man, because there's a lot of talent in my city that I do want to be seen and heard.
Well, man, in depth. All I would say is, I appreciate your time, your energy. I know you have a lot going on. Still have a lot going on.
Man.
And if y'all don't know or can see, I mean, we got the stuff on the table you can see right here. CDs and all that.
First
little plaques on the wall. Rap block,
Source magazine.
Source magazine.
You know, one of the first artists out of San Antonio besides PKO, I was in 4 Source magazines. I wish I had the one I had got 4 mics in Source magazine. So I ever see the one with Snoop Dogg on the cover. Issue 1998, I think was the March issue. Man, a kid out of San Antonio, man, getting 4 mics in the Source magazine. That was like a major accomplishment too. As you know, I only seen 1 person or 2 per people. On the front of this cover, this is LL's edition when you got his 5 mics. So that's very important to me. I put that on the wall because I got a full-page fucking ad in here on a very rememberable Source magazine with LL with 5 mics. First time he got 5 mics. So them are the kind of experience and the things I've been to and accomplished. So I'm very satisfied, man, in my career. Very.
And a lot of people don't know and understand who my man Lil Sin is. Also, he did the intro to Mask and Cover podcast. So every time y'all see or hear what we got popping on that, understand that's Lil Sin rhyming on. Beats by Who. Shout out to my man Vaz. Beats by Who. Definitely check him out. My man Lil Sin definitely bodied that too. That beat was banging. And this is what we trying to do, man. We're bigger than where we are, who we are. You know what I mean? We're trying to spread it all over the place, man. No more crabs in the barrel mentality. Ain't no hate, show love everywhere we go. Again, Lil Sin, always a brother to me. You've been a man, dog, ever since I known you, seen you. Y'all always see over finger that where my real niggas is at. Yo, man, tune in, Mask and Cover podcast. Enjoy it.
Mask Uncovered, where you get to take your mask off and say what you want to say.
Mask Uncovered,
Already.
say it, man. Already. And shout out to my bro, man, Marcus, man. He always holds us down, man.
Already. I
Bro.
Chuck Taylor, a.k.a. Chuck Taylor. And shout out to my man Skizzo Blizzo, man.
Skizzo. I wish you was here. Hopefully everything is good. What you need to figure what's going on with the fam, man. Everything, all right?
You already know.
Hollywood Skizzo, man.
Oh, one
Shout
thing
out.
I like to say before you go, man, I got an album dropping in a couple of months called The Book of Ron, produced by my homeboy Solomon Malone, a.k.a. Pop Squale. Y'all go look for that on Spotify and all my platforms, man. Lil Sin 36 on Instagram. I go by Ron Warner on Facebook, but I'm on iTunes, Spotify, whatever you think of, man. I'm on all the platforms, YouTube. Y'all go pick it up. Chill!
And definitely shout out to Pop Swat. Like, yo, that's my bro, man. Y'all gotta check out the interview we did last night at the concert. I know I ain't do a lot of live videos, but I was trying to get everything together. No matter what, as long as y'all see the product, man. Mask and Cover podcast. I'm down here in San Antonio, Texas, 210. Showing me mad love, showing Masculine Cover Podcast mad love. Man, Skills will be down here sooner than later. And y'all just keep tuning in, man.
Already.
The game's the game, man.
You already know. Mask uncovered. Take your mask off and talk.
Take your mask off. Take your mask off.